The door appeared on the third day of my solo hike, a vertical wound in the fabric of the pines. It stood 20 yards off the trail, entirely alone, no walls, no house, no foundation. Just a weathered 6-panel wooden door with a tarnished brass knob, standing upright in a small clearing as if it had grown there. I should have kept walking. The Pacific Crest Trail doesn't have doors. That's the kind of obvious truth a person clings to when their mind starts playing tricks. But the brass knob caught the late afternoon light, winking at me like an old friend, and my feet were already moving before my better judgment could object. The door was solid when I touched it. Real wood, real grain, real rust flaking from the hinges that attached to nothing. I circled it twice, looking for wires or supports, finding only meadow grass and the occasional daisy. The thing stood with the impossible certainty of a dream object. I laughed, because that's what you do when reality hiccups. I pulled out my phone to document the absurdity. 3 bars, 4:47 p.m., February 14th, 2026. And then I turned the knob. The door swung toward me, and I stepped through onto a path that was identical to the one I'd just left, except the afternoon light had shifted 5 degrees toward gold. The same pines, the same distant sound of water, the same slight incline toward the ridge. But the air smelled different, fresher somehow, less smoke. California used to smell like this, I thought, before the fires became a season. My phone buzzed. Welcome to Canada. Roaming rate supply. I stared at the screen. The 12th of August 2016, 4:48 p.m. I had a signal. 3 bars. I opened my photos and watched the dates rearrange themselves like a card trick. September 14th's pictures simply vanished, replaced by the empty camera roll of a phone that technically wouldn't exist for another 4 years. I turned around. The door was gone. In its place stood a young woman with a ponytail and a day pack, squinting at a paper map. She wore jean shorts and a t-shirt for a band that had broken up in 2018. She was maybe 22. She was also, quite clearly, not seeing me. I waved my arm through the space where her face should have been. My hand passed through nothing, but she shivered slightly, rubbing her arms and glancing at the sky as if checking for rain. "Hello?" I said. She unfolded her map. Her lips moved silently, forming words I couldn't hear. Then she oriented herself, nodded once with the confidence of youth, and walked directly toward me. I flinched. She walked through me. The sensation was like standing in a cold spring. A brief, electric clarity, then nothing. She continued down the trail, ponytail swinging, and disappeared around a bend. I stood frozen, listening to her footsteps fade, and then I heard something else. A hum, low, constant, almost subsonic. It seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere, and when I looked down at my hands, they were slightly transparent at the edges. The phone buzzed again. Warning. Liminal immersion detected. Temporal anchor unstable. Interaction with past objects or individuals will result in permanent residency. Do not engage. Do not engage. Do not engage. The message disappeared before I could screenshot it. The forest was both exactly the same and profoundly different. The trail was better maintained. Fewer fallen trees, clearer markers. The creek crossing had a bridge that I knew from my own time had washed out in 2018. I passed 2 more hikers who didn't see me, a couple arguing about whether they'd missed the turn to the lake. She was crying. He was defensive. I watched them for a full minute before realizing I was intruding on something private, even if they couldn't know it. The hum grew louder as I approached the ridge. So did the sense that I was being watched. Not by people, but by the place itself. The pines seemed to lean inward. The light had taken on a quality I can only describe as anticipatory, as if the forest was holding its breath. At the summit, I found her again. The ponytail girl sat on a fallen log, eating an apple and scrolling through a phone that looked comically outdated. Small screen, physical home button. She was laughing at something, shoulders shaking, and I realized she was alone in a way that felt specific to 2016. Pre-pandemic alone. The kind of alone where you could still feel connected to everything. I wanted to speak to her. I wanted to ask her what it was like to live in a world where the worst thing that had happened was still in the future. I wanted to warn her about the pandemic, about the fires, about the wars, about everything. But my hands were more transparent now, and the hum had become a thrum, and my phone displayed a single stark message: temporal anchor at 34%. Interaction will result in permanent residency. I sat on the log 3 feet away from her and just watched. She finished her apple, checked the core for remaining flesh, then tossed it away. She pulled out a physical notebook and started writing. I craned my neck to see. August 12, day 14, made it to the ridge. Saw a door in the woods today, which is weird because I swear it wasn't there on the way up. Didn't go through it though, too creepy. Mom always said don't open strange doors. Some things never change. Feeling good, really good, like this is where I'm supposed to be. Tomorrow, the lake, then home. P.S. Note to future self. Remember this feeling. Remember that you can still be surprised. She signed it with a little doodle of a pine tree. I stared at the page, at her looping handwriting, at the date. August 12th, 2016, 9.5 years ago. I would have been 24 then, living in an apartment I couldn't afford, working a job I hated, dreaming of hikes I never took. This girl on the log was younger than me, but not by much. We could have passed each other in a dozen cities, a dozen trails. We could have been friends. The hum spiked, my hands flickered. I stood up and backed away. The girl looked up from her notebook, frowning slightly. She turned in my direction, eyes scanning the empty air where I stood. For a moment, just a moment, I thought she saw me. Her gaze held mine with a peculiar intensity of someone trying to remember a dream. Then she shook her head, laughed at herself, and went back to writing. I walked. The door was exactly where I'd left it, which was also exactly where it hadn't been an hour ago. It stood in the same clearing, facing the same pines, its brass knob winking in the lowering sun. Behind me, the trail stretched empty. The girl was still on the ridge, still writing in her notebook, still safe in her 2016 bubble, where the future hadn't happened yet. My phone read, temporal anchor, 12%. Return immediately to avoid permanent residency. I put my hand on the knob. The wood was warm from the sun, real and solid and impossibly present. I thought about staying. I thought about finding that girl, touching her shoulder, watching her face as she recognized me from a future she couldn't imagine. I thought about all the things I could tell her, all the warnings I could give, all the mistakes I could help her avoid. But the hum was a roar now, and my arms were barely visible. And somewhere in the back of my mind, I understood that permanent residency didn't mean living in 2016. It meant becoming part of it. Another ghost in the woods. Another person who opened a door and forgot to come back. I turned the knob. The door swung open onto the same trail, the same light, the same February afternoon. I stepped through and heard it close behind me with a soft, final click. February 14, 2026, 5:02 p.m. My phone updated. The battery was at 87%. The photos were back. The messages from myself, the warnings, the temporal anchor readings were all gone, replaced by a single notification. Welcome back. We hope you enjoyed your visit. I walked the trail back to camp in a daze, checking over my shoulder every few minutes for a door that was no longer there. When I reached my tent, I sat down and wrote everything in my journal. The date, the girl, the warnings, the apple core tossed into the brush. I wrote until my hand cramped, then I wrote some more. In the morning, I hiked back to the clearing. The door was gone. Just grass, just daisies, just the ordinary morning of an ordinary day. I stood where it had been and tried to feel something. Relief, disappointment, wonder, but all I felt was the absence of hum. I pulled out my phone to check the trail map. August 12th, 2016, 4:48 p.m. The date flickered at the top of my screen for 1 full second. Then it corrected itself, and I was back in February, back in 2026, back in the world I was supposed to inhabit. But here's the thing about liminal spaces. Once you've stood in one, you carry the door with you. I still check my phone every morning, half expecting to see that date again. I still listen for the hum when I'm alone in the woods. And sometimes, late at night, I wonder about that girl on the log. What she became, who she is now, whether she ever found another door. I looked up the trail registers from 2016 and eventually found her name. Sarah M., Pacific Crest Trail. Section hike from Donna Pass to Belden Town. No contact information, no social media presence that I could locate. Just a name in a logbook and a description in my memory. I wrote her a letter once, care of the Pacific Crest Trail Association, with no real hope of delivery. I told her about the door. I told her about the notebook. I told her to keep writing, keep hiking, keep trusting the feeling that she was exactly where she was supposed to be. I never heard back. But sometimes, when I'm out on the trail and the light hits the pines at a certain angle, I feel a hand pass through me, cold and brief and electric, and I know she's still out there, still walking, still unknowingly brushing against the ghost of a woman from the future who chose to let her be. The door is still there, somewhere, waiting for the right person, the right date, the right moment when reality hiccups and someone decides to turn the knob. I won't go through again, but I won't stop looking for it either.